most terrifying moment of her life. I must have heard the suitcase story a million times growing up, but she'd only told me this part just once. It's kind of ironic calling it a suitcase story because Dad actually forgot to bring our most important suitcase
for those who don't know me,
the one with our ID papers.
My name is Weston Mark. I'm an Aboriginal. I'm an Aboriginal storyteller. I'm a storyteller because my father was a storyteller, and my grandfather, and his father, and his father. This is my dreaming, with my position in the tribe of storyteller. I'm not Barrett. I'm a big and bull man. I come from southern Queensland. You people who know where Boggabilla is and Jundarinda is, Gomeroi people on the
it was in mind that
on the
if
McIntyre River,
something happened, they're just waiting to find something like excuse to put us back in detention, or because every time it's okay, you guys coming to Sydney, but anytime that we want, we move you to the Papua New Guinea or Manus Island.
She had let herself in for going from one camp in post-war Europe to another camp in Australia. Even the bedding she was issued with, grey army blankets, had a military element to them. I don't actually have any clear memories.
So Susie's picked all the colours, and we did a bit of a colour map, and the shapes have been created out of the data of the population for different continents, and that's probably the hardest part, is weaving the shape into it as you go along. Sorry, the grey part is steel, so that's probably the hardest part to weave as well, because it all sticks together. It's quite sticky, and so that will be soldered onto the wiring, which will go back to the little piece of equipment that holds the sound bites and the audio. And so when you run your hand over the steel part, you'll get the audio sound of different areas around Blacktown community. And so that's similar, obviously, to the drawing on the floor of the map.
On the railway
as well.
The first were actually brought into Eden in New South Wales by a man named Ben Boyd to work in the whaling industry. I'm a descendant from my great-great-grandfather, Henry Natoka, who was kidnapped at the age of 15 from his island in Malaita in the Solomon Islands and brought to Mackay in Queensland to work in the cane fields.
Warren and I had already been working with maps and soundscapes for about a year when the show approached us to build a work. We collected stories and poems from migrants and the locals of Blacktown, building soundscapes to sit within the visual pieces. The visual elements themselves are based on maps. The copper tape is conductive. The platform's wired from beneath so that the electrical signal given off by a human's touch will trigger the soundscapes, the stories of Diaspora in this case, and the participant will hear these through the wireless headphones. At the same time, pictures appear on the touchscreen nearby with the name of the particular storyteller. The pictures have been reproduced by me from a 1940s picture dictionary brought here and used by Polish refugees.
And I would go to the shop with my mother, and she had a little dictionary that had pictures of food items in it. And
Blanket had been in the back of my parents' car. It was the family's picnic rug. And I only recently realised its significance. It's the blanket my mum's parents were given when they arrived in Greta Camp as refugees. The ID papers my mum arrived with are embroidered onto it with conductive thread, and when the listener touches it, they can hear her story and the story of her family's journey from Poland to Australia.
My friend Sean and I built the platform from pallets and MDF in my studio. To create the drawings, I took the local government area maps and projected these onto the 6 platform units, configuring them into abstracted shapes. Inspired by patterns of ancient carpets and shimmering reflections on water, I played and puzzled with the shapes, building them up in fragments, just by using my eye and judgment.
the screen basically runs everything. The screen is a 7-inch tablet, 7-inch touchscreen, that's attached to a thing called a Raspberry Pi, which is basically a computer that's the size of a credit card. So all of the signals that come out of the circuits in the platform are sent into the Raspberry Pi, and then it decides what sounds to be played, and they are then sent through to the wireless headphones. So yeah, this is the control circuit for everything.
It was quite a job to install the platform, and I questioned the decision to use the pallets in the first place. It had taken on a life of its own, shrinking and stretching throughout the process. And we were conscious that although it's part of the machine, it was a thing of beauty in its own right. I wanted it to be beautiful, and I wanted it to reflect the stories it was telling. I hope that it does.
سفید فرما